Arise, Ghana youth, for your country. The nation demands your devotion. Let us all unite to uphold her and make her great and strong. We are all involved. We are all involved. We are all involved in building a motherland. Back in the days when I was like in JHS2 or so, by now we like left, right. Benkum ni fan left, right. Benkum na me de ma ho di na match na teacher who me pen we twem. Match pass, set match. Mama Chibida. Teachers, why? Hello and welcome to TYAC, your most comprehensive youth program. And today, as always, we dive into the dynamic world of the youth. So, of course, if you find yourself within the category of youth, then, of course, this is your show, and we are glad that we are appearing on your screens today. As always, it's going to be an amazing lineup for you, Adele.
Yes, don't think too far looking at how we are dressed with our women feminism.
Yeah, someone a dynamic fascinator. Okay, Fasiduku. I like the Fasiduku.
Yeah. Fasiduku, yeah. I'm sure you are wondering, but don't think too far. You understand why we are here. But
Exactly.
We are excited to come your way again. In fact, last week was interesting. You know, when it comes to Kudi, pound sterling, me and I'm a penny. I was saying, you know,
yeah,
the discussion was very much exciting, and we are very much happy once again to come your way today, and the conversation is going to be interesting, but I don't want to give you the juice yet.
Of course. By the way, I am beautifully styled by Classy Rosie. Classy Rosie, thank you so much. I'm looking patriotic. Together with a beautiful lady actually did all of these Fasiduku for us. So side business. Last week, you know. By the way.
And I am styled by Boo Boo House of Fashion. This is so beautiful. Thank you so much, sweetheart.
And our makeup was beautifully done by Debbie, the Bougie Beauty Lounge. The Bougie Beauty Lounge. So thank you so much,
Debbie.
We appreciate you. Okay, so we go for a quick breather, and when we come back, we are going to give to you back-to-back the lineup for today. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back from that very short break. We will not waste much time. We'll just go into listening to our youth director. We are very excited to hear from you every week. And so today, let's take some time and take a seat and listen to what our youth director, Apostle Ebenezer Hagan, has for us. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, you're welcome once again to Time with Youth Director. It's always a blessing to have you. And thank you for making time every week to be with us. We trust God that as we share, it's going to be a blessing to all of us. Today we are handling one of the most controversial topics ever. And it's about to divorce or not to divorce. If you're a pastor, you probably may have heard this. Pastor, should I divorce? If you're a best friend, you probably may have heard it. Should I divorce? Or maybe some people told you, I'll go ahead and divorce. No, I'm fed up. I want to divorce. And I have just been thinking about the word divorce, the use of the word. Maybe it has become more frequent. Maybe the use of that word, it looks like it's becoming that the frequency of the use of that word in the world becomes higher as time travels. So the question is, do I divorce or I do not divorce? To divorce is to move out of a marriage that has been officially, brought together. A marriage, as it were, a properly recognized marriage, to move out of it and to be no longer married to the one you have been legally, married to, is what I mean by divorce. And divorce is not, is not a current term. It's been there for a long time. And I want to begin by engaging the word of God from Matthew chapter 19, verse 3 downwards. Matthew 19, it said, and some Pharisees came to him and they tested him. And they asked, is it lawful for a man to divorce his wife for any reason and for every reason? Any and every, wide, apart. They are wide apart, they are worlds apart. Any means any single one. Every means all reasons. So right there, these guys came to test Jesus, with a very wide spectrum of possibilities. For any reason or for every reason. And look at Jesus' response. Haven't you read? Jesus brings them to the original. Haven't you read that at the beginning, the Creator, God, He made them male and female? And He said, for this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and the two will become one flesh. So, they are no longer two, but one. And so to ask about divorce is wrong in the first place, in the context of marriage, according to Jesus. He's saying that originally, the Maker made them one. And they are one. The male and female come together to be that one. And even after the original, He making them one originally. The Bible said that after that, a man leaves his father and mother and is united to his wife. And from that moment, they also become one. So they were one when the Almighty created them. And by divine plan, whenever marriage goes on, they become one indeed. And so in the context of marriage, eventually you are talking about one person. How can one person then divorce? Is he cutting himself into two? That is the question. So verse 6 says that, so they are no longer two, but one flesh. Therefore, what God has joined together as one, let no man separate. So, verse 7, why then they asked, did Moses command that a man will give his wife a certificate of divorce and send her away? Then Jesus replied, Moses permitted you to divorce your wives because your hearts were hard. But it was not so, or it was not this way from the very beginning. Then verse 9, the last but one. I tell you that anyone who divorces his wife, except for sexual immorality, and marries another, commits adultery. What is adultery? The sin of going behind your wife or your husband. You are married, but you are seeing another man or another woman. That's adultery. Jesus is saying that if anyone divorces his wife, except only for the case of sexual immorality, if it is not sexual immorality, and yet you are divorced, before God you are still married, and so you call yourself a divorcee. But the one who marries you, the Bible said that person has committed adultery. But you are divorced, but you are not married. How come you are committing adultery? Because before God, you are still not married. You are still not divorced. Yeah. But then the disciples say they make a very last statement, which is the last verse I'm going to read, verse 10. The disciples said to him, if this is really the situation between a husband and a wife, then it is better not to marry. You see, there's a reality of a situation between a husband and a wife. And that reality of the situation is how God created it from the very beginning. God created marriage to have a certain situation, a reality of a situation. And in that reality of the situation, no situation or no condition should warrant divorce. According to the original design, according to the reality of the situation, as God meant it and as God designed it between the husband and the wife. And so they say that then it's better not to be married than to enter it. That's what the disciples said. The issue about divorce, I want to divorce, has come very, very, very often nowadays. Sometimes just the style of sipping a drink is a reason why somebody wants to divorce. He's not my type. And then MBA, he doesn't know how to dress. I can't take him among my friends. No, his level of exposure is too low. No, he's this. Oh, he didn't understand. He shouted on me. I want to divorce him. So many reasons. This is what the disciples meant. Can you divorce for any reason and for every reason? Jesus' response is no. You can't divorce for any reason. My parents said they don't like him any longer. Where were they when you were married? So not for any reason, and it's not for every reason that you can divorce. I want to tell you, a life that is. So there was a time ago that a man of God in Ghana made a statement. He said that if two people end in divorce indeed, then both of them are proud. I never understood it until recently, because the thing is that in marriage, when you all stand on your heels, it ends in divorce. But somehow, we are able to, by God's grace, adjust ourselves, and then we are able to continue to be. I hope to continue this because I've not finished yet. I hope to continue it very soon. But the point we are making here is that marriage was made by God. The original case for marriage and the original intent and original way of marriage is such that when you enter it, it is for good, it's for better, for worse. And by God's grace, it will be for better. The Lord depends on us that if this is the reality of marriage, that there's no exit door apart from sexual morality, then we should come back to Him to help us so that we will be able to marry and we will not be divorcing. That is the way to go. That is the way, and that really is the way to the original. That is the way to God. And so with God, and you comply with Him, I'm not just talking about going to church, but you going with God as a true disciple and a true believer who is going by His word, you are a better place to marry well. I pray that our marriages will be blessed. I pray that it will not be a divorce for you. I pray that your joy will last all the way to the length of the marriage. God bless you. Hope to see you soon.
Wow, wow, very delicate topic.
It is.
As such, to
Very
divorce
soft.
or not to divorce. In fact, when you hear of people divorcing, it's quite heartbreaking.
It is.
Because when we came to the wedding and we were dancing and we were just shouting and all the hype, and then we hear that you're divorcing, it's heartbreaking.
It's
So
heartbreaking.
I don't think I would want to.
Oh no, me too. Because
Go through
if
that.
I remember that Kusiani Mekobia will be dear on my wedding, I mean, that's not the reason why I'm not going to divorce. But I mean, there are more blessings in marriage than just looking at the challenges that it comes with. Of course, it is never perfect because so far as you are in this world, nothing is perfect. Even though we are working towards perfection, so it's definitely something that you can handle, you can manage, and you work around it. And so
we have to work around our differences. It's not easy. We are not in your shoes, we are not in your shirts, but we think you can still manage it.
Yeah,
You
even
can
though
find a way around
there
it.
are some, when it comes to abuse and these conversations are different, to be very honest, because they normally say that if nowadays it's not just the guys who are beating the women, the women too are doing that, and when they do it the first time, it's likely that it is going to be repetitive. So whenever anything of that sort happens, you definitely have to report and then let a third party come in and then solve the issue, because we don't want to hear anything like, well, bona not na worry nothing. We don't want that. Yes, we don't want that.
Yeah, if you leave Safa and myself, we'll talk and
I
talk
mean,
and
this
talk
is
about
what
this
we
subject,
do.
But
This is what we do.
let's leave it for another day.
Yeah,
So why we are dressed like this?
it's finally here.
Yeah, we are actually really excited because this year is an election year, and when that happens, we all have to remind ourselves why we are Ghanaians,
Exactly.
why we bear the name Shisafwa Mamichi, coming all the way from the west.
All the way from the Ashanti region, but also Ghana.
Yeah, and we love our soil so much.
Yes.
And so we want to talk to ourselves. Let's have a conversation about how we are not going to pick cutlasses and all that against ourselves, but rather uphold each other and try and bear with our personal differences and political differences whilst we are in a political year.
Exactly.
So that at the end of the day, everything else will come to a beautiful end. And so today, right into the big conversation, we are discussing something about patriotism, and I know you don't want to miss it. So stay right here and let's get our guest in.
Absolutely.
Welcome to the Alex Neda Children and Youth Center, located in a serene space at Mingwa, Accra, Ghana. We have various hangouts, events, and conference facilities at your disposal. Our beautiful astroturf will host your football games, corporate hangouts, and happy hours, and is spacious enough for your birthdays, wedding, receptions, and more. Complementing that is our well-equipped gymnasium with top-notch trainers for your fitness needs. To cater for your breaks and breakout experience with an ocean view is our breathtaking cafeteria and lounge. Come and have your rehearsals and record your music
in our state-of-the-art studio and rent our spacious office spaces for your office deals. Take a knowledge walk through our soothing libraries for you and your children. Contact us on 0547 397025 or 0561 836116. Find and follow us on Facebook, Alex Neda Children and Youth Center, or on Instagram at ANCYC_IG. Locate us at Nungwa Nautical Last Stop at the PIWC Graceland premises. Alex Neda Children and Youth Center. All you need in one place.
Hello and welcome to the Big Conversation. This is where we have all the juicy, all the edutainment, so meaning entertaining as well as educating moment here, having all our guests who are poised and ready to attack and attempt all the questions that are asked. And of course, interestingly, we will be delving into patriotism. Whenever this name or this word is mentioned, it brings a lot of things into perspective because it's talking about your country, the love, basically the love that you have and the feeling you have towards your country. And it's no different, you know, as we are preparing and gearing towards the election year. No, we're actually in the election year, so we are preparing towards the polls, the December polls, which is 7th December. And we just want to know, how ready are you? I know there's been a lot of apathy in the system, especially regarding the youth, because everyone is complaining, this is happening, and we are about to find out from our guests and the people we have here in the house to tackle this interesting topic. As usual, I have Adele here to my immediate right, who would be also contributing to the conversation because, of course, she's a Ghanaian. And I have a beautiful lady and a handsome gentleman. I think the gentleman was with us last week, and of course he is here again. So I'll just begin with him to put things into good perspective. So we have in the house Oswald Anum, who is a marketing officer with Vectopus Company Limited, and also an entrepreneur, like we found out in our previous episode. And we also have Rosina Ejapoma Sima. Am I correct?
You're correct.
Oh, I'm happy to be correct. And she is a dedicated brands and communications strategist at Eagle Power Energies, and with a passion for empowering communities. She also serves as a founder of Zip Up Project, an NGO focused on nurturing the talents of persons with disability. That is amazing and a beautiful one we'll be going into probably another time. And also mentoring students in public speaking. I think this is quite a number of it. But we know that she is into philanthropy work, right? Yes, supporting humanity and Ghana at large. And so, Rosina, thank you so much for coming. Now,
Thank you so much for having me.
all right, so now we delve right into it. Patriotism. What comes to mind? Like, what we want to put it into good perspective if we talk about patriotism. So I'll start with Rosina.
Okay, let's start with me.
Yes.
Okay, so basically, when we talk about patriotism, I think the first thing that everybody thinks about is politics. But I think patriotism goes beyond that.
Thank you.
So patriotism is about the love for family, the love for community, the love for the country. Because the country didn't just become a country. It started from a nuclear point of view. That's your love for your immediate family, to your extended, to the community you grew up in, and so the country at large. So it's funny how you see people these days, like when you talk about people look like, okay, you should be a politician, you should be talking on, and you know, about issues, and all of that. That's when people say, oh, this is a patriotic person, organizing demo and all of those things. But I think it goes beyond that. It starts from the basic things in our community. So let me say, you're a carpenter. You know the windows and doors in your community, schools are falling apart. How much does it cost to get a nail? You have a hammer already. But this person would wait till it calms down so that they'll be able to point hands to a government that, okay, so the school building is in there.
Sometimes it even kills.
It kills people just so that somebody can pick a news out of. Right.
Someone can make money out.
Somebody can make money out of. So it's sad and sickening when you see people, just to see things go bad.
Yes.
They can talk about it and claim, I am patriotic. I have love for my community. I have love for my country. And unfortunately,
a greater number of us are Christians.
That's right.
And then you ask yourself, okay, what kind of Christianity is
I'm very excited you brought in the Christian perspective, because I was going to ask as well if there is any correlation between patriotism and our faith as Christians.
Thank you very much. There is. We'll read Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 7. It says, seek the welfare of the place where you live. And later it becomes, or you become active participants in your civil life or civil society. So as Christians, we are supposed to seek the welfare of where we live. As Rosina mentioned, when you see something going wrong, you don't wait for it to get worse before you start pointing accusing fingers at the government and saying the government is not doing what it's supposed to do. But in our own small ways, we can do a lot to help the country to grow. When we're talking about patriotism, we are talking about a combination of factors that, pushes out the love we have in us. We are looking at our national loyalty, national pride. We are looking at our cultural and historical presence, and we're also looking at our civic responsibility.
Wonderful.
And so as Christians, the onus lies on us to set the pace for other people to follow, as Jeremiah 29 is saying. So every Christian is supposed to be patriotic so that others can also learn from them.
Wow, this is deep, and I'm loving how the conversation is going. Now we want to be very present. Let us do some evaluation, like on the grounds. How, maybe I'll start with Adele as well. How do you see the youth of today in relation to patriotism? Are we patriotic enough in our own way? If you do your analysis, what do you think?
The question for the gods.
We may not be able to exhaust everything, but at least let's just bring some of the issues to
I don't think that we are patriotic enough because in our day and age, everyone wants to jack back.
I know.
I mean, everybody says things are getting spoiled right here. Our money, our economy. They don't think they can trust the people who come into leadership.
But do you think it's your fault? I mean,
it's not your fault, but then you can't also run away.
Right.
You know, when the pandemic started, all the people who had literally run away now wanted to come back
home.
They were now facing a pandemic. So when you left and we also left, and we all left the place, like, how are you going to come back?
Exactly.
So it's not your fault, but I don't think that the solution is to run away from the challenges.
Wonderful.
We are youth. We have great ideas. Thankfully, we are Christians, so we have God on our side. So, like Rosina was saying, why don't we come up with a solution? Why don't you see a problem and think of a solution? I think we are very used to complaining about the problem and end it there.
Yeah.
Now, on our radio stations, on our TV stations, it's always about the talk, and a little of the do, because that's all we know how to do. And sometimes we don't even go to research really deeply into what the problem is. We just go with the flow.
Yeah.
Everybody's saying this, so let me also say something. So I wouldn't say we the youth, we are as patriotic as we are supposed to be. Even in the way we show up. Now we love more of the, I wouldn't say contemporary, but the Western stuff more than our own stuff. Even the food we eat.
Exactly.
People would want
the fast foods,
and will not want to eat banku and okro.
Oh, my favorite.
When you have healthy foods like this, you want to go after junk food that will make you sick. All these things are part of being patriotic.
That's right.
I think we have to just have a 360 turn.
And I love what Rosina said from beginning, that it's not just about politics, even though it has not become like the central or the focal point whenever we are talking about it, because it's about country. And you can never talk about country and leave leadership from it. And when you talk about leadership in a country, it starts from the governing parts of the country. And so let's come to maybe voting. I hear most of the times, and even at a point, I personally felt like, will my vote really count? Because it feels like we are losing trust and credibility in the EC due to some. If you follow the recent news that has been offloading, you realize that, I mean, there are some inconsistencies. They come out to talk about it. I mean, even following the politicians and how they are laying out their manifestos, their campaigns, and I'm like, do I really want to do this? But at the point, I'm like, okay, like he said, a civic right. You have to be a part of of it. What do you say to people who have made a resolution in their minds that, Charlie, this voting, I don't think is mine. I don't care anymore what happens to the country. Okay, Rosina.
Okay, thank you for that question. I think it's quite an interesting question, being that I'm a youth. I remember last 4 years, I traveled close to 12 hours to go home and go and vote.
Wow.
You understand? So when you take away the reason people have, recently I was speaking to my boss, and then I was telling him that one of the most dangerous weapon you can have as a country is to take away the hope of the youth.
Yeah.
When people don't have trust and hope in the system, it's chaotic.
Yeah.
So people don't want to go and vote, not because they don't think they are not patriotic or anything. They feel like it doesn't change anything.
That's right.
They feel like my voice will not be heard
Exactly.
at the end of the day, because there is hardship. I talk about it and I am tagged because, okay, if you talk about the problems, then you belong to this particular party.
Yes.
If you don't talk about it, you are struggling. Even when you come out, you vent all your frustrations, they will not tag you as being lazy. That's why you're complaining. Other people are not complaining.
Yeah.
And so people are losing the interest in voting because they will not get the results back. That notwithstanding, I always tell people that if you sit back and you expect people to make decisions for you, when they make their decision, it affects you. So better make a decision than decide not to make at all. So don't sit in your house, just go and vote, just vote wisely. Be a critical voter.
That's right.
Don't vote because my generations, we voted, I mean, in this generation, that's gone. That's gone. Make your own decision. Be an adult who make a decision and then be responsible for
that,
it.
exactly.
Make a responsible decision.
And before I hop on to know the interesting idea you will also be bringing on board regarding the question, would like to go for a quick break or a quick turnaround. We'll be back and then we'll talk more about it. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Alex Neda Children and Youth Center, located in a serene space at Nungua, Accra, Ghana. We have various hangouts, events, and conference facilities at your disposal. Our beautiful astroturf will host your football games, corporate hangouts, and happy hours, and is spacious enough for your birthdays, wedding, receptions, and more. Complementing that is our well-equipped gymnasium with top-notch trainers for your fitness needs. To cater for your breaks and breakout experience with an ocean view is our breathtaking cafeteria and lounge. Come and have your rehearsals and record your music in our state-of-the-art studio and rent our spacious office spaces for your office deals. Take a knowledge walk through our soothing libraries for you and your children. Contact us on 0547 397025 or 0561 836116. Find and follow us on Facebook, Alex Neda Children and Youth Center, or on Instagram at ANCYC_IG. Locate us at Nungua Nautical Last Stop at the PIWC Graceland premises. Alex Neda Children and Youth Center. All you need in one place.
Hi there, and you are welcome back. We have been talking about patriotism and how imperative it is for Christians in general to be patriotic and then also be part of leadership in the country. And that was after Rosina spoke about voting. So I would want to find out from Oswell your thoughts on that as well.
Sure. Everyone who lives in the country must be part of decision making in the country. And our way of being part of the decisions that leadership takes in the country is by involving ourselves in the election process. It is our civic rights, it's our civic responsibility, and we must exercise it. That notwithstanding, the leaders or people in governments must give us the reason to continue to vote for them. Because, as you mentioned, the youth are losing hope, or they don't want to vote because things are not changing. They are going from bad to worse. And people have been voting all this while. And yes, so Ghana is, we can say, is Ghana going back or Ghana going forward?
Exactly.
And from where you stand or where you sit, you can say maybe Ghana is moving forward, and somebody also can say Ghana is moving back. We don't have, a common solution or a common answer to give when we say is Ghana moving forward, because people have diverse, because our leaders are failing us day in, day out. People are not exercising their civic right because they vote for somebody who comes into power, and then they are doing things that are affecting the people who give them the power. But we know that government is for the people, by the people, and I mean for everybody.
People,
so
yes.
we are supposed to be part of it. But what I would say is that the youth of this country must vote and stand up and hold leadership accountable.
Thank you.
We are in the community and we know what the leaders are supposed to do. When they are not doing it, we should stand up and voice it out. When we voice out, they will do what is right. Recently, what happened in Kenya, the youth of Kenya decided to stand up for their right and ask for what is right for them. And eventually, the president had to succumb to the people of Kenya.
Yes.
And so Ghanaians must also learn and stop saying "enyeshwe, enyeshwe." We should stand up, go and vote. But when things are not going right, come out and let us speak together or come together and tell the leadership that they need to do ABC. Then I believe Ghana one day will be a better place for everyone.
Okay, thank you so much, Oswald. And I mean, adding to what you said, I mean, standing up, to hold leadership accountable for whatever thing they do doesn't necessarily mean we have to shed blood. I mean, that is not what we are talking about. We want to place into perspective the Christianity bit of how patriotic you can be in expressing maybe or showing love for your country. And so we have varied ways of doing that, and I'll be coming to that. We need to mention some of the pragmatic steps we can take to express or show that we are very patriotic and we want the good of our country. And so I'll start with Adele.
Yeah, so when you talk of patriotism, the first person that comes to mind is our chairman.
Beautiful.
He's so patriotic. Like all the time, he wants us to pray for our country.
Wonderful.
And that inspires me because even Bible asks us to pray for those in authority.
Yes.
So sometimes I feel that if you don't pray about something, you don't have the right to complain when that thing is not working. Because you've not done the first duty as a Christian.
That's right.
You've not sent the thing to God. And don't sit and say, oh, a whole country, how can I be the only one going to say a prayer and something can change? I can remember a story in the Bible about Nehemiah. He heard that the walls were broken down, and then he tried to do something. One man, he fasted and he prayed.
Yes.
And then what happened? He didn't even go and tell the king that, oh, this is what I want to. The king said, oh boy, what happened? Like, you are down. What's going on? He said, oh, the walls are down. Oh, I want to go and build the walls. This man said, go. And this Nehemiah guy got the guts to even ask for resources. And he was given, just one man. And then when he went, some people decided to stand up against the whole thing. And funny enough, when we read the book of Nehemiah, it's very interesting.
Very.
Funny enough, when the people stood up against them, it rather brought them more resources. Because they ended up going to the king. And the king realized that, no, there's been a law that this thing has to happen. So now they're asking me to even go to the law and make sure these people stop. I'm rather going to give them more resources to get the thing completed.
Exactly.
And he gave them a law. No one should touch this thing. Leave them. Let them finish it. So what am I talking about? As Christians, as youthful Christians, do something for your country in prayer.
I love that.
Pray for your country. Our chairman always will raise
always
his
does
flag
that.
and say that this is ours. Let's do something about it. So pray about it. Stop complaining about something you've not taken to God, because you can't do much about it. Like we've all said, we have spoken, we have gotten up, we've done demonstrations, we've done all that we think we can do humanly possible, and things are not changing. So let's go the spiritual way.
Wonderful.
Let's raise Ghana up.
And I mean, sometimes when you talk about the prayer, like you spoke about Nehemiah, when Nehemiah prayed and then he was doing it, he was able to garner quite a number of people to be part of it. But there were Tobian and Sanballat who were on the side laughing at them mocking them and discriminating and intimidating. These people, I think, are perfect representation of how the world is. Whenever you are resolute in your mind that this is what you want to do, there will be people who will be there talking against it, trying to talk you out. And so even when you mention prayer, which forms a very integral part of patriotism, I'll be like, Master, we nyempire. Sometimes people say it. And
they say it all the time.
And we are not saying that it is all about prayer and then no action. You pray and then you work towards it. But then there will be people who would also say, Master, nyempire sem kra. So we have to be also mindful of that. Rosina, I'll come to you.
Okay, so on that, I would say that people need to be very, very careful of the kind of things, because even when you relate it to trade, the Westerners, they didn't just come and pick people. You had blacks in there who negotiated the whole thing to allow their own people to be taken advantage of. So when we are talking about these things, let's not look far.
Good. We
are all contributing to the problem that we see today. And yesterday I was having a conversation with somebody, and I was telling the person that if you are you get it. The person bringing a certain contract to you, the person giving you a certain command to do something in your community, you know very well that that person would know that you will not dare bring that thing to him, to tell him to do that. But the fact that the person has the guts to tell you to march up into a crowd with a gun and shoot.
That's right.
To pick a cutlass and then butcher your neighbor, should tell you that person has no respect and no regard whatsoever for you. And so you should not even think about it or to even consider it. You should know this person has just respected my integrity so much that he considers me as an animal, because I would not be able to tell him to do that, and he would do it. So think about yourself. Think of yourself as a wise and a smart person who would not be used as a tool to instigate war or any chaos in any way. You just have to go and vote. If you align with a political party's agenda or something, fine, just vote for that party to come into power. There is nothing like, and it hurts me when you see leaders abusing other people on social media, on TV, on radio, and I'm like, God, their children are watching.
Do they
and it's sad,
Their children are watching. So if you realize that the young upcoming politicians, everybody wants to be, very poised when it comes to insults, because that's what raises you up there. As Christian, I don't think that's what we've been taught. That's not what we need. You need to be able to articulate your ideas such that people can buy into it, not necessarily abusing people on social media and all that. So moving forward as youth, I would urge all of us to be very smart in the kind of people we entertain in our circles, because we will fall first. We will be at the forefront of everything. And so if there is war, we are going to fall, and those people will fly away with their families and other things. You don't have the money, please.
Exactly. and you see, one of the things that I see, especially with people who are in power, is that they have that ability to manipulate. And so when they see you, they know the things that you lack or you need. And they are like, oh, do this for me and I will do this for you. Or probably when I come to power, you help me do this and you will be able to do that. Like Rosina has said, they are not really thinking about you, your future. And then and sometimes I really think about, because when we are talking about this, it's not really far away from us. We have students who are student leaders and in student politics. And they have mentors who are up there. And by the way, we are also not saying all the leaders in politics are like that. We are saying the things that are prevalent and then what is happening here and what is even likely to happen, because in every election, something similar happens. And even there was one, was it in 2016, where in Nima, I think Kumoji and Bom Bom, they also had a clash. Cuddlers, and it was a dire situation, and you don't want things like this to ever happen again. So if you're a youth, no matter how exuberant you are, you can, I think, invest more in prayer and then hope that things will get better even as you go and exercise your vote, and then also try and speak to your friends around you, never to support violence. I will come to all's well. So.
Sure. Let me add a little. Romans chapter 13, 1 downwards.
Wonderful.
It tells us to give respect to authority. And so as youths, if you want to be patriotic, if you want to participate in election or politics or anything, know how to speak. We have a lot of youth today who are always full of insults. If you want to say anything, it means you need to insult a leader. Or no, that is not how a Christian is supposed to participate in politics or be patriotic to its country. So we should know that Romans 13, 1 downwards is telling us to give respect to authority. That does not mean when something is going wrong, you don't say it. But you say it and you are mindful of your words, the choice of words you use, so that people can learn and know that you are a Christian who is seeking to, effect a positive change, and not to just join the masses and insult people by being patriotic. Yes,
I think this we can go on and on and on, because I mean these are things that we have experienced in our life. Even though we are for Bachale, we have gone through quite a number of elections, and we have seen what has transpired and what happened, the aftermath of it all, and what is likely to happen if we go, sideways, because our neighboring countries and others like Kenya, we have seen some of these things before, and it's not too far from us. We always say, oh, Ghana is a peaceful country. Peaceful, sir. I don't want to say that, but se ebeye ana enye ejina menewo ene yenso. So let's make sure, with all the power that we have, trust me, your power is your vote. Someone said, it's very true. And for some of the youth or some of the people out there who are saying that maybe I won't vote, and if you don't vote, still somebody will come and rule us. So it's better you just oppose, you do your comparative analysis and see who you think will be able to help the country go far and be better than where we are today. Ladies and gentlemen, I have enjoyed myself. I think it's a Makasa Kurasi on Mumbai. Last words. Then let me give you the airtime. Producer, give me just 1 minute. Last words.
Let me say
Adele.
So I hear our chairman always encouraging us to do something good for our country.
Wonderful.
And being patriotic also means that we want to make our country a very good place for investors who want to come and invest. When there's this political unrest, no one wants to come in and put their money somewhere where they think there will be some war breaking out. So let's be mindful of that. I think with the exuberance we have, we can make our country a better place. You can clean the gutters. In fact, the gutter right in front of your homes. Why would you wake up in the morning and you see that it's threatening to rain, and you go in and pick your rubbish and pour it into the gutter? How patriotic is that?
It's not.
And then the next time you are complaining that Ghana is dirty. You and I are making it dirty.
Exactly.
So I think we can talk about other ways of patriotism, even aside the elections. How to make our country more attractive. Even when the tourists come around. There was the last time my friend was telling me that there was a white person who came around, ate banana, and decided to throw the peel just like that.
Look at that.
And he told Masa, pick that.
Thank you.
You think this is your country?
Yes.
If this was your country, you would do this. You wouldn't do that. And the person would say, oh, but I'm rubbish. And I said, no, we are not going to allow you to do this. Because we, the youth, we do it. And so the people come here and they want to just pick that kind of culture. Let's do things differently. Let's respond in a very nice way to our own environment, where you are living. Make sure the place is as attractive as you would want it to be.
Wonderful.
Exactly. So let's be very responsible people and stop blaming government for every bad thing that is happening to us. We could also be blamed for all of that.
I think this is a charge we need to keep. Whenever you see a neighbor or someone throwing something inappropriately, and tempestuously, tell the person that yes, say onfa.
What's the word?
And tempestuous. Just and temswara. Do me man from one. And my husband and I do that a lot. We have grown to a certain, like sometimes we have to grow zero tolerance. Zero tolerance for some of these things. If we start learning and picking up these, it will help the next generation who are coming. But it will be from there. No one to watch it. And you feel proud of yourself. Make a big crowd you almost see free trot when you man say in their car. No one could not get any chore. One Johnson. It's so bad. And they have normalized it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, but it's because for you the guys, you don't have to lift anything up and squat. For ladies, squat. I think it's something that we must address individually. This is not about government issue or anything of that sort. It's something that we owe us. We owe it a duty to do the right thing, even when no one is watching. Exactly. It's called integrity, and we must have that. Sometimes
the person is properly dressed, like, what's just you? It's fine. I'm like, and they see you coming, like the person can see.
They say they don't care. Now they don't care.
Challenges. So
they
where should you go? I want to say something for them. Where should you go?
I think, you see,
I want
to leave room for us well.
That's what I'm saying, that leadership. Perhaps in other countries, where you move for maybe a distance, you see somewhere that you will find. But here, you wouldn't. Let's say you are moving from here to Katamantu and you are hard pressed. There is nowhere.
Find a bank.
There are some commercial even there. Yeah.
So, and it is very also difficult for you to move to somebody's house and say, I want to use it.
Nowadays,
So there are a lot of factors that are contributing to that. But that's notwithstanding,
regardless, yes,
we should find ways and means to behave properly. And one of the things we need to know is that for somebody to be patriotic, it starts from the home. I remember my dad, anytime he rains and our gutters are choked, he gets us into the gutter. We distill the gutter from in front of our house to the next. I mean, my dad has used us. I mean, he's so rest in peace anyway. But he got us to understand that you can also play a part in keeping your environment clean. And so the homes, the fathers, the mothers, they should also start training their children to be patriotic. And I believe when we start from the home, we'll build a better nation.
The mother is the one sending the son.
And talking about that, I think there was this even recent how do I call it, a group of youth, like young people. Yes. And it's like they just took it upon themselves. No money, but it's like they just want to go clean. And we heard that one of the flag bearers of a party I don't want to mention even dashed them an amount of money because of the yeoman's job they are doing for the country. So sometimes you really don't need that money to do that. They will more offer for boys, girls. Maybe one of these days we will also do that.
They had something like that.
Yes.
Communal labor or something. I think in some of the villages it's still there. In my village, for instance, it's still working.
Wonderful. And even I think Homo, ahead of Homo Festival, the chief also ensured that they do the cleanup.
We
do that, and that's amazing. That's one thing I love about the church. So I mean, talking about patriotism and being a Christian, our leaders are ensuring that we always be part of it. And so thank you to our leaders of the church, the chairman, to the executive council, to all the elders, and big shout out to you. We salute you. We salute you and we love you so much. So all too soon we have come to the end of this shout outs. Yay, shout out. Okay, shout out. Okay. Rosina.
So before I go on to my shout, I just want to say this.
Okay.
So the title honorable is not the office you occupy. It should come with integrity. Please don't be parading yourself as, oh, I'm an honorable person, honorable this. We should see it in your character and your demeanor, your results.
Yes.
Should prove that you're an honorable person. On this note, I would want to say a very big thank you to my mom, Gladys Snewa. She served at church for so many years in Ada Book Room.
Oh, okay.
So, Mama, thank you very much, and to my parents, my friends, and people who are training me here in PIWC Graceland. Thank you to all the presbyteries.
Wow,
wonderful.
Beautiful.
Also well.
Okay, so I also say thank you to my wife, Angelina. Thank you so much for the love you show to me, and also to my in-law and my mom as well, and all my brothers. Then Kafui. Thank you for being a good friend.
Wow.
That's amazing. Do you have some shout out to give?
Oh, I just want to say that we are shooting right here from Alex Neda Children and Youth Center, a very nice and beautiful place. We are actually shooting from their conference room.
Yeah.
I want to urge you to come pay them a visit at Nungwa Nautical Last Stop, PIWC Graceland premises. You see that they have a lot you can take advantage of. Don't go and pay huge sums of money somewhere.
That's right.
Let's come and then they'll do you good.
Yeah, and we are looking beautiful by
the bougie.
Yes, the bougie. Yes, the bougie beauty lounge.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the makeup,
Thank
and
you.
I am in my classy rosy apparel, and so big thank you to Rosina for this amazing
And
dress.
thank you, Bubu House of Fashion.
All right, so we are not done. We are going to continue, but with other segments. So stay tuned, don't go anywhere. Quick turnaround, and we'll be back.
Welcome to the Alex Neda Children and Youth Center, located in a serene space at Nungwa, Accra, Ghana. We have various hangouts, events, and conference facilities at your disposal. Our beautiful astroturf will host your football games, corporate hangouts, and happy hours, and is spacious enough for your birthdays, wedding, receptions, and more. Complementing that is our well-equipped gymnasium with top-notch trainers for your fitness needs. To cater for your breaks and breakout experience with an ocean view is our breathtaking cafeteria lounge. Come and have your rehearsals and record your music in our state-of-the-art studio and rent our spacious office spaces for your office deals. Take a knowledge walk through our soothing libraries for you and your children. Contact us on 0547 397025 or 0561 836116. Find and follow us on Facebook, Alex Neda Children and Youth Center, or on Instagram at ANCYC_IG. Locate us at Nungwa Nautical Last Stop at the PIWC Graceland premises. Alex Neda Children and Youth Center. All you need in one place.
During the big conversation, in
Yeah.
fact, Dika.
Yeah, Becca.
So we were having a very interesting conversation. You know, sometimes when you're talking about some of these things, it looks like, hey, don't go there,
Yeah.
don't touch.
Yeah.
But, you know,
You have to.
Becca.
It was
Yeah,
Yeka.
Becca.
It was Yeka.
So we had a very, very insightful conversation in the big conversation, and we want to say a big thank you to our guests for giving us all those exposés. So today our verse for the week, we are taking it from Romans chapter 13, verse 1, and I'm taking it from the NLT, which says that everyone must submit to governing authorities, for all authority comes from God, and those in positions of authority have been placed there by God.
Beautiful.
Everyone
Hmm.
must submit to governing authorities, for all authority comes from God.
That's right.
And those in positions of authority have been placed there
By
by
God.
They've been placed
They've
there
been
by
placed there.
God.
And it's interesting how this rolls out, because it's like, you see where Psalm 82 verse 4 talks about the fact that I say to you that you are all gods, because you are all sons of the Most High, and God speaks through us, through the votes that we go out to do. Eventually, a leader is elected. And so it's like it's a partnership that God is even doing with us. So if we say that we are also not going to vote or anything of that sort, then okay. So if we say that we are also not going to vote and or anything of that sort, then how is this going to work? So I think we have to also avail ourselves so that God can use us to appoint the one who is supposed to be. So what you saying?
And I want to also add that it's not that because God placed the person there, everything is going to be rosy.
Exactly.
Because when you look at the life of the Israelites, there were some kings that God brought into their lives to make their lives miserable.
Yeah.
There were some kings that God brought into their life to make sure that they remember there is a God that brought them from the land of Egypt. There were some kings that God brought into their lives to remind them of a few things. Some came to make their lives very rosy and all of that. So whether you like it or not, God would have placed whoever is there in authority there by himself.
Exactly.
So for me, I even think that if you vote or not, God is going to do something, and he's going to bring someone that some of us are going to be praying. I mean,
Oh yes, we'll be
we'll
praying.
be praying.
We'll be
And
praying.
so if you decide to vote or not, God will give us the person he wants to lead us.
But you have
And
to vote.
Yeah.
Regardless, you have to vote.
You have to vote. In fact, if you have not registered, make sure you are going to do that, and then you vote, which is very important. And you have to be very patriotic.
Yes.
I mean, all the authorities from the district assembly to wherever, including your home, like we were mentioning in the big conversation. Your parents are giving you instructions,
Exactly.
your teachers at school, and all manner of people around you who are in authority have been placed there by God. So you have to submit to governing authorities.
And we would like to say a very big thank you and big shout out to the Bougie Beauty Lounge and Classy Rosie for styling me up beautifully.
Yeah, so we want to wrap it up today, and we are very grateful to all of you for making time with us. We want to hear your thoughts as well on this topic of patriotism. I don't think that the conversation should end here.
Exactly.
Let's continue on our socials. Let's get interactive, and then let's hear your thoughts about it as well.
Let me give one last shout out.
Sure.
I think I give one of the biggest shout out to the chairman of the Church of Pentecost and to our youth director, Apostle Ebenezer Hagan. I think chairman has been very fantastic when you talk about patriotism. And even recently when we were doing the green and planting, Ghana Goes Green and all, I saw some photos with him and Otumfuo trying to plant. And every time he does that, he ensures that, I mean, he's doing something for Mother Ghana. And this is is share leadership.
Yes.
Leadership. And that is what we wish all our
All of
Christian,
us are
I mean,
going to follow.
all of us are supposed to do that. So this is very exemplary and we must learn. So thank you, Papa, for living such a life for us to also follow.
So
Thank
a
you.
big shout out to all the crew members of this wonderful production team. A big shout out to my dad, my mom, my whole family, my in-laws, my husband,
Hey.
my people in the north. Big shout out to you. You know, when it comes to elections,
Debbie.
a
Abotre.
big shout out to you, to Wale City ministers and wives. God bless you for always supporting us. To my area head, Papa, don't say my list is so long.
I will also say some more. You thought we were going to end.
Apostle Norman Apia Dankwa and Mama Ruth Apia Dankwa. God bless you so much for always supporting us. Thank you.
Big shout out to my mom and dad, to my husband, to my siblings, to the family I have, PIWC Atomic. Big shout out to you. We love you so much. And to everyone who has been watching, please let's get interactive. The comment section must be, yes, so let's just keep the comments coming and we appreciate everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being with us. We'll meet again next week. This is Adelaide and
Safwa.
see you next week. Bye.
Bye.